We're getting right to it.
There
All
you
right,
go.
we are live.
There you
Okay.
go. Had to put
We
on the jacket for you.
Oh man, you look like you could be one of the guys that we send to collect money from the people that don't cooperate. You got
When
the
you guys get
beard,
the Cadillac, I'm rolling in it with you. That's fine.
man. And all right, we're gonna do a quick intro here, Scott. All right, this is the New Jersey High School Strength Coaches Podcast. I'm with my friend Paul Collodi and Scott Fearson. Scott, where are you located, buddy?
I'm in Columbus, Indiana.
Okay, that's why when Paul was telling me, I kept confusing it with Ohio. So Columbus, Indiana. We are powered by the National High School Strength Coaches Association. Go to nhssca.us. If you're not a member yet, you're missing out. We got an amazing Facebook group, and then we've got a back end to the website with professional development. I go in there often to look at speed and agility. I'm digging into the fundraising stuff. Our New Jersey membership is pumping up. And, Paul was saying, he's like, man, this guy Scott, he's awesome. He's doing great stuff at the school. We got to get him on. And so we said, yeah, let's do it. We only want awesome people on this podcast. We have no time for average.
None.
Yeah.
We have no time for that. So Paul, would you like to do a little hype before Scott gets going? And also, we messed up last time. We did not ask Mike Schrock favorite movie, favorite food. Like, we blew it last time. We're one step away from being fired by Tony Soprano.
Well, we can lead off with that. But hey, before you were talking about joining the family, March is March Madness. It's 25% off in March. So make sure that you check out the site. You can't beat it. 25% off for new members, or if you let it lapse, you can. I think that's what it said, that you can also do that as well. So check that out as well.
You can't. Our group is so supportive. The coaches that are in there, especially when they're new, I'm sure you could attest to this, Scott. They're like, man, as a strength coach, you need this family. You need the support, because you oftentimes feel like you're just running around so much. You're a man or woman on your own island. And to have a sounding board through the Facebook group, to have people who have maybe, been ahead of the curve. There's other states that have done strength and conditioning in the high schools, ahead of New Jersey, ahead of Indiana, like, down in the Southeast, they've really been ahead of the curve. When I went down to North Carolina first time in 2009, when I met Mike Schrock, it was winter break for the college students at Wake Forest. There was like over 100 high school kids going through a strength and conditioning camp at the university. And I was like, these are high school kids. It just blew my mind that that's what they were doing. They were prepping these guys. I took them through a training session. They were learning Olympic lifting. It was amazing, and so having the support just makes you feel energized, because it could be emotionally tough times. Are you still at work, Scott, or are you home?
I'm at home. This is actually my home. I'm in my basement, so I've got my boards behind me, and I've got my board for my little girls. They do their math on and stuff. So
yes, I remember those. I have so I'm in my home office too, and I love integrating with the kids, your own kids. And I honestly think, like, at the college level, that's probably tough to get your kids to come. I know some of the college coaches do it, but at the high school level, we love our schedule. We have a little more freedom. So I'm going to let Paul take it away here, Scott. We try not to crush the time on our colleagues, because we know, family time and just some downtime is great. So Paul and I have been trying to go short, but we've been miserably failing at short podcasts. I'm like, we'll go 20 minutes and it's 45 minutes.
That's fine. I listen to you guys on my way to work or something like that. So
that's what we try to make it. So it's to or from work. So it's great to have you on. Paul's told me a little bit about your story, but I'm going to let Paul kick it off here with our infamous questions, and we'll roll from there.
Well, I know I met Scott for the first time. I believe it was at the Tennessee NatCon. Was that the first year that the Griffin Challenge was introduced to everybody?
Yeah, they introduced the challenge then, yes. And the scholarship was the year before at
Noblesville.
Yep.
Noblesville. That's maybe when I met you. But um, when I met Scott when I spoke to Scott in Tennessee, talking about the Griffin Challenge, I said this is something we got to do, and that was something that I publicized to our school, and I got people involved, and I watching the YouTube video, I get choked up all the time. So I know March is the month for it, Scott. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the Griffin Challenge and how it came about and what we can do for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So it came about. I still don't know how everything exactly happened. So I was in Terre Haute. I was a strength coach that I had two weights classes. I coached track, basketball, and football, and taught math as well. And then I went out. That's when my wife was pregnant with Griffin, and we lost Griffin. He was born. He was alive. He fought to see us. I'm the only person to see him alive because she had an emergency C-section. And so he lasted 2 hours and 5 minutes. Um, I then moved to East. I actually still lived in Terre Haute. I was commuting for a while, then lived with the basketball coach. He took our family in, lived with Coach Chitty out at Columbus East because we were commuting, 2.5 hours. To do that, we lived in a hotel for a little while, trying to get out there to be a full-time strength coach. And I tried to explain to the kids we had these goals, and like on my YouTube channel, we talk about how we do these goals and we write them and stuff. And I started telling them one day, why I'm the way I am, why I'm so passionate. And I have these goals and I write my goals down, and I had them on my mirror along with like my prayer of champions that I got from Coach Nolte. And I have these different things up, and it was keep my promises and make them proud. And I promised a lot of things when I met Griffin. I promised that his name would be remembered. I promised that he will make a difference in this world. I didn't know how I was going to accomplish that, but I just knew something was going to happen. And always after football season, because like I said, I'm a football coach. After football season, weather gets a little dreary here in Indiana, and I'm sure it does there in New Jersey as well. And so the weather starts to get bad, and then it's just a bad time. And I think my students could kind of see that this isn't the same guy. Like you could just see it as it was closing in on the anniversary of his birth and death. And we have a senior project at Columbus East. So all of our seniors have to do something in the community or do something like that in order to graduate. It's a really neat concept. And Kendall Williams, we just started talking, and she was a senior volleyball player. And she's playing collegiately right now as well. And she had the idea of, let's do this workout. And I was just going to come in and work out. The first thing I did after he passed away was I went to a gym, and I just went. I went till I cried until I couldn't move. I just kept going. And so the same concept was, I'm going to go for the entire time that he was alive. So every time we do the Griffin workout, which will be the fourth year of it this year, we go from 12:15 when he was born to 2:20 when he passed away. And during that time, we just battle, we fight, and we're talking with Kendall many times. I wanted it to be about something that you're fighting for someone else, you're doing it for someone else. And I never wanted it to be about like money or anything like that, because a lot of stuff for senior projects they have to get donations and stuff. I was like, we're not doing that. I don't care if that's a requirement for the school, we're not doing that. I just wanted as many people to get involved as possible. And a lot of my kids from that small 1A school, small town school in Terre Haute, south of Terre Haute, actually drove all the way out there to East to work out with us. And it was a really neat event. We tie up balloons for all the schools that I've been at when I was in my coaching career, trying to find a head strength job and trying to find a full-time job. So we tie up the different colored balloons of representing all those school colors, because my wife, who is also a teacher, says once my student, always my student. And she has pictures of every class that she's ever taught on her walls. And I've got pictures of all the teams that I've coached and stuff like that. And we really mean that, both me and my wife. Like, if we know your family, just like the NHSSCA believes in family. It's a concept that we really believe in. So when they came out and did that, it was fantastic. The newspaper got a hold of it. The next thing I know, there's an article about it. We've had probably 300 or 400 people at that event supporting their causes, and everything's okay with that. And they start to read it when we were in Noblesville, the article. And all I remember is like sitting next to somebody, hearing that, and like, I know that article because I read it so many times. And I just blackout moment. I don't know what's going on. They create the scholarship. I couldn't be more grateful. From that day forth, it was like they helped me keep my promise. Griffin Scott Ferson will make an impact in this world. He will have a scholarship every year to a strength coach that's trying to work their butt off to get in this amazing profession that we have. And I'm so proud of that. And, you know, I've talked with Lauren before. It's so weird that this is the first year that I don't want to say I'm happy, but I'm like, I'm excited. And, you know, we were going to have the challenge when they introduced that at NatCon, and I didn't know that this coin was going to come out and this Griffin challenge was going to come out. And Coach Gary Schofield, like everything he does, just goes above and beyond. And he set this challenge. He set the workout. You know, he said, hey, we're going to have it timed and we're going to see how many people we can do it. And then, you know, COVID about ready to hit. And I had one class be able to do it before I felt like something was about to happen. And when they got on the speakers and we're not coming back the next day. And I had a couple classes do it. And I was just like, I was destroyed. And I remember you messaged me, Paul, you guys did it. I did it from home because we weren't allowed back in our own weight room. So I had to build like a garage gym at my house. And then this year, when it came out, it's like we're doing this Griffin challenge and there's so much support for it. This is what I told the kids today. So, you know, we started March 1st. Our Griffin workout is March 27th in Columbus East High School, and anyone can come to it. I'm going to have rack reservations, like I run my 7 a.m. morning lifts and stuff like that. But we started going ahead and doing the challenge. And this is what I told the kids. And you guys talked about our great family and how we have this, the Facebook and how we have memberships. And we want everyone to be a member because of everything that it means. But our numbers on Facebook are like, you know, well over 4,000, right? And this is the exact same thing I told the kids as I had the workout up on the screen. I was like, we're doing this. You guys know we're doing this. We're going to get timed. We're going to go fast. And we did it at the end of our tier system today. At the end of weight, we were doing chins with chains hanging from us and all kinds of stuff. And at the end of all that, we did the challenge. Because if they want to do it again, they can come in and beat it again at another time. But I told them, hey, we got 4,000 coaches across this country in this amazing association that we have. You guys know I'm a part of because we have the NHSSCA stuff all over our weight room. I was like, just think about that. If they have 100 athletes, I was like, you guys all know we have over 300 in our class. So if they have 100, because some people out there have more than me, some have less, but let's say average of 100, it's 40,000 high school kids that could be doing this challenge. I was like, you want to compete? Because I just spoke at the Indiana State Clinic about competition and AMRAP, and that's what we do in our weight room. You want to compete? You're competing against 40,000 kids. Let's get the best time. Let's get the most people to do it. We are competing against 40,000 kids across this country. Okay, let's make it something that can be really awesome. And I just have so many mixed emotions about it personally, obviously, but I want it to grow. And the scholarship helps Griffin to make a difference in this world. This challenge, when I see my kids going hard for me, I love it, man. I had one, I call him Nightmare. That's his nickname because his last name's Kruger. So it's like, you know, Freddy Krueger Nightmare. It's Liam, but he came in and he did it 3 times today.
Damn.
In
What's
a
the
cast.
challenge, Scott? What can you break it down? The exercises?
Yeah. So what it is so like on the workout, we go for the 125 minutes, the 2 hours and 5 minutes that he lived. The Griffin is 25 single unders. That's your, like, what I call the buy-in. That's how I explained it. So the kids wouldn't keep accidentally jumping rope at the end of everything because some of them did that. But it's 25 single unders. And then you do 3 rounds of 21 air squats, 15 V-ups, 9 pull-ups. So you repeat that 3 times, and then you finish with 25 single unders as your exit. Boom, hit your timer. So like I said, I did it in my tier system today. At the end, had kids time themselves because we use Team Builder, another great sponsor for us, but we use Team Builder, and it was on there as I put it as letter G for Griffin. It was at the end of ours, and we timed it. They used their phones. And then they're recording that for me, and we'll do it the rest of this week because we're on a hybrid split A through K, L through Z, A, B block schedule thing. So, you know, I only see my kids once a week. So trying to see them all. And then the football team, wrestling team, and volleyball, I write their workouts, and I'm the head track coach, so I have to go across the street. But I stayed in there and ran the Griffin for them, ran them in 3 waves, got through 75 kids, and about 20 some minutes, just efficiently going boom, 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 tagging each other in and out and getting them out. So yeah, that's the challenge. That's how it came to be. So I was a little long winded there, but
That's okay. What's the and how does the scholarship work? You mentioned the scholarship.
mhm. So and that's actually eligible right now. So if you know of a deserving coach that's a member of the NHSSCA, and he's kind of starting out, and you know that he's deserving, impactful, making a difference, trustworthy, knowledgeable, all those things that we really focus on in our association. You can nominate them. The nominations go to the Godfather, Kevin Vanderbush, who was actually one of the guys that pulled me aside and talked to me after um, the scholarship got announced and everything. And I leaned on him and talked with him about life and stuff like that. That's why anytime he has a Q&A, man, I'm there. I'm listening to him. I can listen to Kevin all day. But that's kind of how the scholarship goes. And you nominate a coach from anywhere that's kind of you know's fighting or doing something awesome. So last year's winner started his own book series and all this stuff, non-for-profit thing. So really, really cool,
Who was last year's winner?
man. And it escapes me off the top of my head right now.
Do you know where he was from? What state?
Yeah, he's from South Carolina because he played for the University of South Carolina. I can literally picture his face and his book because I bought one of his children's books that he wrote
Okay.
upstairs, and the name is just
That's
escaping
a-
me so
we'll
much.
look him up. Do you know Paul by chance?
I don't, cause it was virtual last year and I really don't remember that part. Um, so I could tell you the year before it was Scott the year before in, in Tennessee. You got that that was the first year of the scholarship, right?
No, no, the first year was actually Scott Horn.
Scott Horn.
Yep.
He's got a big beard like you.
Well, and then the guy that's in our group for the Play Academy. So like Paul and I are in the same Play Academy cohort, and it's Andrew McKay.
Okay, I remember that name.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize your uh, this job, getting the strength coach position, was so brutal. Why did you like do the so much moving around? Was there no opportunity near you? Like you were commuting 2.5 hours? I mean, I
Yeah.
did that less than that. I did an hour and 45, and that's tough, dude. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. I'm always, man, strength coaches, we work so hard. It blows my mind. Sometimes it kind of breaks my heart.
Yeah.
That is tough. So what inspired this long commute?
I mean, I'm gonna go quick because I know we don't want to go forever here. But um, when I graduated from Ball State University, I told myself that I was going to use my degree. I was a manager of a restaurant. While I was in school, I've worked since I was like 14, 15 years old. I've always worked. Matter of fact, when I first was in college, like my freshman or sophomore year, I wasn't an athlete like everyone else. I actually worked at Best Buy second shift, went to school first shift, and I worked overnight third shift at Ricker's gas station from 10 to
Late. You are lazy.
Wow.
yeah, I would go a couple days without sleeping, and it was until I like kind of flipped out one day at the gas station because I still remember. I tell some of my students this story. Someone like went to register something up, and I didn't know where I was. Like I was like, I can't keep working this much. Um, but I was a manager of Chuck E. Cheese actually. So get to play games all day and eat pizza. It was a solid gig, but once I graduated, I said I'm using my degree. I had a degree in physical education and school health, and so I quit, and I was coaching football while I was working there as well, and while I was in college. So I was coaching football. My former defensive coordinator, Pete Gast, who was the head coach at Alexander Monroe High School, who's still the head coach there, gave me an opportunity. I went there. I was coaching football, coaching linebackers, coaching a little bit of running backs, quarterbacks, stuff like that. It was 2A, so I was coaching everything that I could, that he would let me, right? Defensive side and offensive side. And then I was also on a weight loss journey. I was well over 300 pounds and a PE major. So I was like, I need to lose some weight. So I got down to like 160 pounds after that. So lost well over 100. Still don't have abs. Pretty
How'd
upset.
you what were some of the like key components to your lifestyle that help you lose so much weight? That's wild.
I fell in love with the weight room. I fell in love with bodybuilder style bro splits, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. Like Chris Gethin workout stuff. I was watching all those. I was doing it.
Chris who?
Chris Gethin, he's a bodybuilder style bodybuilding programming thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, it just got me started. And that trickled, this is crazy, but that's trickled into, I was coaching football and I just miss being part of a team. I miss being in sports. When I was a kid in the neighborhood that would go knock on the doors and say, let's go to the field. We had a field by one of the people's house. We just called it the field. And we would play like tackle football or wiffle ball or whatever we would want to play, or paintball. It didn't matter. We'd go to the field and do it. But I was the guy that always wanted to do that. And I missed doing that. And that's what I always tell my kids. I miss coaching. So when I got done with my major and I got done with that, I went there. I was a substitute teacher. I was coaching football and girls basketball. I was also working at a gym at White River Fitness Club. Then I started working at like a 24-hour place. Then I was training there. Then I took a maternity leave in Indy, teaching math. I was the seventh person to take the maternity leave because 6 other people quit. It was a rough spot. But when I walked in, I was like, "This is more money than I've ever made, kids. You're not gonna get me out."
Well, if you were a health and phys ed, your degree is health and phys ed, then you were teaching
yeah.
math. Were you
Yeah,
in private?
skip that part. Coach Gass was a math teacher, and I looked at him one day. I was like, I can do that. So I went and took a test, like everybody who takes a test just to get their PE added to their license, which a lot of coaches do. I was like, I can do that. So I went and took a test and added math to my license.
Okay.
I'm actually licensed to teach mathematics as well, just because I went and took a test.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a relatively smart guy, I guess. I can take tests. I'm good at taking tests. I try to tell the kids tricks to taking tests, but did all that. He let me kind of run the weight room because of my weight loss journey. I think that's why he let me just kind of do it. That, and no one else there really knew what was going on or wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it. Like, I was
How
passionate
many
about it.
how many kids did you have in the weight room at once when you first started? And like, what did your programming look like since you had that bodybuilding background? Because I
Yeah,
think a lot of the bodybuilding stuff is actually great for athletes. Jim Wendler always says, athlete the lower, bodybuild the upper. And I think that makes a lot of sense.
yeah. I mean, we tried to keep it basic. It was we did squat, clean, and bench because I saw those were on the boards. I was like, those are important. We deadlifted. We probably did some more upper body stuff than necessary. We did a lot of lunges because they hurt and I liked them, and
Yeah.
that's what I did a lot of when I was trying to lose weight and stuff. So we did all those things. I'll be honest. I was you go over to the clean, and it's embarrassing to say now because I'm so technical with it. And I don't think if my kids listen, they're going to listen to this because I bragged about being on the podcast all week. But now they know I'm so technical about how we do it and exactly how I want it. But I literally used to just grip it and rip it.
Well,
Get it up. Like, get it.
let me ask you,
Coach it.
Scott, if you were to, stand in front of coaches
Mhm.
and you need to break down the clean, because I have still not taught the clean at the high school I'm at with this on and off. Kids are in, kids are not in, they're allowed to come there. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
How would you want the breakdown? What would be like, I need to start teaching the kids front squats during the warm up, but how would you break it down and kind of program it in?
All
Just
right. Well, from the being just a bro, that now that I have the CSCS and I have the USAW and I got all those things now, so I'm a little embarrassed about but hey, we all start from somewhere, right? Just had to get in there, but I'm a top down teacher. The guy that invented the DC blocks was actually the one that certified me for my USA Olympic. So I'm a top down. I really work on we work on the shrug, the power shrug. We get into the pole, and we'll call it scarecrow. So we want to be able to be tall and be like a scarecrow, and then we jump and we work on jumping into it. So every day we do jumps, we do like jump squats and stuff like that. So if you're jumping and landing in a squat, that's a clean once you add the bar.
Mhm.
I mean, that's a clean. You just jump and add it and land in a squat. That's more or less a clean. Yes, there's some shrugging, there's some technical stuff to it, but we want to advance to that. And I noticed when we were working with slam balls, we got very proficient at the clean as well. And I think that's because the way we would do it is we would pull them up to our chest and we would jump up with them, slam them down. And then when we would slam, we would try to squat immediately to scoop them right back up again, not bend over and pick them up, but we had to scoop them out of a squat. So it was always scoop, extend, slam, scoop, extend, slam, scoop it. I just repeat that
Do
nonstop.
they have videos of you in our professional development area of you like going over any of this? This is gold.
No, no, they don't. They don't.
We need to. That would be great if you could get a kid to record you widescreen of like
Yeah,
just teaching the clean for a few minutes. No
I would.
pressure. No pressure.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's so many other great guys out there with, higher level Olympic certifications than me. And
I just
uh,
like those things.
It's
I've never heard of
cues.
somebody
Yeah.
saying, um, I've never, I haven't gone for my USAW. I've also never heard of people talking about the way you did the slam ball. Would you say
yeah,
scoop
scoop, extend, slam.
Extend slam.
and then go right back to it without that hunched over position?
Right. We have to drop our hips and scoop. You're not allowed to bend over and pick it up. So
Dude,
we scoop it.
love that.
So that way it's a tall chest.
Yep.
So we scoop, we literally take it and scoop it, just like if you were, tackling or doing something like that. So we go in there, we scoop it, scoop the ball up, and then as we're jumping, right, and we've extended, we have to extend our hips. That's where the extend is, but extending all the way up. And then as I'm pressing, my shoulders kind of shrug and I raise the ball up all the way over my head and I'm in the air. And as I'm slamming it, I have to immediately land back into that squat with the ball directly between my legs to scoop it right back up. So I like the dead slam ones that don't bounce.
Right.
If they
Yeah.
bounce, they're just going to stand there and catch it.
What kind of reps are you doing with that kind of extra? And what is that
Timed.
what's that?
Timed. We'll do like a 20-10 split or something like that, kind of like a Tabata thing. So we'll go
Nice.
like
How
20.
heavy are those slam balls?
We have 10s all the way up to 50, I think is what we have currently. And then we have busted 9 of them. We break a lot. Like,
Yeah. Where do
I-
you get your slam balls from? Do they get replaced if they're broken within a year?
They haven't. I went and told our PE teacher. I was like, hey, because they bought them for me.
Yeah.
And we tried to get them replaced. I was like, shouldn't these be under warranty? It's a slam ball, and I'm literally slamming it. I haven't done anything else with it. Nothing fancy. I slam it. Yes, we slam it hard, but it's called a slam ball. So no, but we still have a few left that we're able to. And then with our splits and stuff, and that's always something we really start off with. So like the first thing, whenever I first come in with a new group or whatever, slam balls are coming out. We're not touching a barbell. We don't touch a barbell generally the first little bit, maybe week or 2 or 3 or
Mhm.
however long it ends up taking. But they got to look good at that. If they can't slam a 10-pound ball, why would I give them a 45-pound bar?
Mhm.
If they can't extend it and do the things I'm asking them to do. So
You know how you mentioned like they got to squat down and bend at the hip.
Mhm.
When we asked Mike Strock last week what he felt was important, he said you got to bend. If you can't
Mhm.
bend the hips and knees, forget it. And it's amazing. You know how like kids are struggling with
Yeah.
the hips.
Yeah.
And so it's like you need to squat. Like if your friend calls you up and says, "What are you doing?" Tell them you're squatting.
Yeah.
You're hanging out in the bottom of a squat right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yes.
mean, that's the movement over maxes thing is big, and we talk about movement a lot. And then with the way that this hybrid is, basically, I've told the kids, you're not going to do what we need to do once a week. So I open it up every morning at 7 a.m. They sign up for it, and I've had a lot of kids that come in for that. We run our after school stuff that they do as well. And since they're only seeing me once a week in the actual class, that's turned into more of like an auxiliary time, but still getting work in, and we still work on the clean because I feel like I can still focus on 1 to 2 good things, and then kind of finish out and give them a good workout because some of the kids are a little out of shape. Some of them are phenomenal shape because ever since this started, they're in there 5 days a week or more. I've got one kid that comes in, I think I see him 9 times a week.
So what does he do?
That's a
Come
little
in for
excessive, but I see him 9 times a week. He is
he
always
does the class and then he does the before or after school stuff?
Yep.
So
Yep.
why do
He's
some
there
kids only get once a week?
because they only show up for class. I've got a mix of like athletes, non-athletes, kids who
Me too.
it's a filler, and then kids that want to be in there and stuff. So, and then I mean, for a freshman, it's going to be hard to get in there at 7,
Oh
um,
yeah.
especially if you're on a hybrid schedule and stuff. But a lot of the kids have been able to get in there more than the once, but the bare minimum would be the once. And then if you throw in I-step testing and everything else into it, and then we had some snow days because it got crazy up here.
Yes.
Not nearly as crazy as y'all, but I mean, there was a couple that I saw them maybe twice in a month, but that was only a few kids. There was the kids that they're in the class, but they only come to the class. They're not going to put in that extra. And if you want to be if you want to be a champion, you gotta work, man. Work wins. So that's something we
Twice a month is good if you're training like Dorian Yates, blood and guts. Had to get the bodybuilding in there.
There it
Paul,
is.
what do
I,
we got, bro? Because
I,
I'm
I,
hogging
I
it
like
up.
the med ball. We were talking to Amanda Berg during our cohort the other day, and she was talking about her sign up in the weight room that says everybody's welcome here. And sometimes if you pull that bar out right away, you get some of those athletes who haven't been around. And I've had two recently that have never stepped in the weight room before. And I think, finding that med ball solution, and if you had 40-pound med balls, some of your stud athletes, that's going to be challenging for them. Odd object lift, going up fast, but it's inclusive for everybody instead of just the bar. I really like that concept that, not one is safe. So again, play more, play better.
Right.
And number two, that everybody's involved and doing it well and fast and slamming it. And there's nothing better than slamming a med ball into the ground. I think that's, today
I,
for the first time we pulled the pads off the wall. We got the med ball wall set up, and we were throwing med balls against the wall today. And I like, to me, doing a bar snatch is a little bit easier to coach. So we do the bar snatch. It's faster. Um, Talk about just zip your coat and catch over your head. So pretty simple. And I get athletes who have never been in the weight room before, dumbbell snatching. Again, zip your coat,
I
catch it
love
over
it.
your
Yeah,
head.
I use the same. I say zip the jacket. I
Yeah.
like that.
And it's outstanding. But
I
I like
like that too. Those the heavy med balls we have at my school up to 80. I'm gonna pick up 100. I think sometimes it's like squat down, rip it up to your shoulder, and from ground to shoulder. I like it.
Yep.
We didn't ask Scott about his food and movie. Are we gonna mess
we're,
this up?
no,
Paul?
we're not. So we got pork roll, we got sausage and peppers on the boardwalk in Zeppelis in New Jersey.
Yeah.
What's a go-to in Indiana? Like, what are you
Yeah.
going to go out and get?
Oh, I mean, if we're talking about regional cuisine when it comes to Indiana, it'd be the tenderloin. You got to get the breaded tenderloin that once they pat it out thin, it's bigger than your head. That's the regional cuisine of Indiana. I would say would be the breaded tenderloin.
What about, we interviewed Michelle Hart Miller. She goes to a place called the Thirsty Moose. I
Thirsty
mean,
Moose.
I want to go there already. What's a place that you go to? Maybe you're with the family. Maybe it's been like it's the end, it's the end of football season. You're like, man, we got to go crush this XYZ food and get this drink. Where do you go? What's it called?
Gosh, we really don't. We eat at home.
That's like me, man. I'm very boring.
Right,
We might get a 1-star review because of that, but it's
right.
been a while since going out with COVID to eat.
I know that we like the little hole in the wall places. Like I know there's a little like drive-in style, old school style that has like pizza burgers and shakes and stuff.
Yes.
Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head because we've only lived in Columbus for a few years now. I mean, I'm always a Chipotle guy, and I say Chipotle instead of Chipotle, and it drives my students insane.
It sounded a little strange.
No, but I say Chipotle. I argue. I keep telling them I'm gonna get a shirt that has a chip and a pole and then just the letter T on it. I'll be like, I'll know what it means. You know what it means too. But that's probably, I know Phoenix, when we go on daddy-daughter dates, she'll typically pick to go there. So we go there and go.
And how many kids do you have?
I've got three. I've got Phoenix, Griffin, and Ember.
Wow.
All of them have Harry Potter themed names, by the way.
You look super young. I mean, you got 3 kids. How old are you?
Let's see, what year is it? 21. Born in 84. So I'm 36, will be 37 in July.
Yeah. Whenever I ask like, how old are you? It reminds me of Jerky Boys when he's like, how old are you? You sound like a young kid. He says to the guy.
Jerky Boys.
Yeah.
That's the first Jerky Boys reference for the New Jersey podcast.
You sound like a young kid. And that is funny. So I like hearing this training. How many athletes are in a group now, Scott, versus last year before COVID? Has there been some significant changes to what's allowed?
Yeah. So like, I mean, last year before COVID, my classes, so we're, we have 8 mods. I have 7 of them. So we would do about 50-ish per class. Some a little less, some a little more actually. I think my biggest one I had was like 60. Um, this year, the numbers are similar as far as enrollment goes, and as at the first start of the year, because we only went to this hybrid situation. It was after football season. We haven't been hybrid a whole long time. I mean, I think we did the whole first semester and we were okay. I think I'm trying to remember, man. It's such a
It's
blur
all a
anymore.
blur.
Yeah, it is all a blur. But now it's we go A through K. So we went to block this year too. So not only did we have to deal with hybrid, and quarantine and COVID, but we also went from traditional to block this year. So we went from doing that. So we on our A days and B days. A days I don't have a prep. I have like 1 through 4, and then we'll go A through K on a day, and then L through Z, and then B days I have first mod prep, and then I'll have a second, third, and fourth mod, and we go that A through K, L through Z, depending on the day. So like Monday is A day, A through K. Tuesday is B day, A through K, and then Wednesday is all virtual day. So we'll be on like Google Hangouts and stuff like that. I'll still do my 7 a.m.s because I got around that. That's how I originally got around that with the kids. I kept trying to fight to get them in the weight room, and they said they had to focus on academics during the day. They couldn't be in there during school hours. So I was like, well, what about before and after? And that's how we got it. We were like, so okay, we're coming in at 7, and we'll come in at 3:15.
And so you're putting in extra time? Did you get a stipend for that or?
No, no, I don't. No, I'm not worried about
Interesting.
that. I just doing what's best for the kids right now. I mean, especially in COVID, they needed a safe place. And my biggest argument was, I drive by Planet Fitness on my way to Anytime Fitness because I work there I have a 6 a.m. adult class there before I go to school. So I drive by Planet and see that the cars were there, and I know some of my kids were there. It's like my facility is way cleaner than there, and I work at Anytime, and I mean we got a clean facility, but I know that I'm cleaning it, and we're all masked up. Like my athletes are masked up. I'm masked up. We're cleaning.
Yeah.
Well, I know our facilities is, but nothing against those franchises. Obviously, I work for one, so nothing against them. But I feel like we're going to take care of the most precautions. I assign everyone their rack. Everyone's assigned. I know their close contact points. I try to avoid it the best I can, especially with hybrid. It's been very easy. I just put everybody in their own rack. We have 18 racks, so I can
Whoa.
I can fit in everybody in their own rack and
Wow.
and be okay. And even if I can't, there's some classes that I can't, because my biggest split is probably my 2B L through Z class. I think I've got about 26 or so in there. So I've got to double up some of them, but I just put like, if you're on the basketball team together, we'll double up.
Sure.
If they're already a close contact, then, or they live together, or they're boyfriend, girlfriend, or best friends, or whatever, then I put them in the rack together. But
Right.
other than that,
What do you have, Scott? Would you be able to take a widescreen video of like tour your weight room? Would you be able to do that? And can you send it to Paul, myself, and Toby, and we could get it uploaded in the resources section for the
yeah,
members? See
yeah.
if you don't want to be a member, that's fine. We ain't gonna give you the hookup. That's fine. Don't mess with us. But I think it's cool to see different setups and that we're all, you said, I'm doing what's best for the kids, but you might have your racks on the perimeter. Somebody else might have two-sided racks down the center.
Yeah.
They might just get a rig and walk up and down the center. And it just shows that there's different styles of coaching. And look, we mentioned cleans and snatches. Some coaches don't do that stuff. They don't clean and snatch. They just maybe do more of a power, barbell powerlifting movements, but then they do a lot of jumps and med ball throws and sprinting to get, power. And I just find that I don't feel like as a coach myself that I should tell somebody, hey man, you have to do that exercise. Jim Wendler says, if I'm not proficient at the clean and I can't really teach it, then I'm not going to incorporate it into, the thing. And some coaches do a lot of Olympic lifting and no powerlifting. I'm looking through some of my older books, like Vern Gambetta's books, and it's a lot of dumbbell training and a lot of med ball stuff and jumping. And it's, reminds me of, like what Juan Carlos Santana was doing in the late 90s, early 2000s. That stuff's great too. I think there's so many great ways to train kids. And movement is like, to me.
And I kind of want to piggyback on that if I could.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, because like you're saying, if you don't feel comfortable with it, and then like what I keep thinking of, like I was horrible at teaching the clean when I was in Ellick. And then when I went to North Central, I was okay, and we had metal weights and a concrete floor, and we still cleaned.
Wow.
And
Hmm.
but it's if you want it and you like it and you think there's a possibility of doing it, that's why I went and got certified in it. And then I like the powerlifting movements. I really enjoy them, and we have them in our program. And I wanted to know how to do it even better, so I went to a Juggernaut powerlifting training seminar by Chad Wesley Smith and his
Sure.
wife, and listening to how they did it. And I think, especially, that's what's awesome about this family is I can look at your stuff on Instagram, or I can look at what you do, or Jacoby or anybody else out there. Like, what are they doing? What's Adam Lane doing? What are these guys doing? What's Matt Cates doing? And I can watch it and I can call them and I can talk to them, because with this association and being part of the Indiana advisory board, I can reach out and talk to any of those guys. And then after
Right.
I had my clinic talk, I've had people call me. And I think that those connections, and I know Paul, you know exactly what I'm about to say, connection trumps communication, right?
Mhm.
Being able to have those connections and build our toolbox and build our ability level to do the best thing for the kids and what we think is awesome. We might like something and then turn around and be like, I don't know why I do that. Let's look into it. Always
Sure.
be able to answer your why. And I'd even tell the kids, if I can't tell you why we're doing something, call me out. We won't ever do it again. Like I tell them, we don't do burpees. Like if we do burpees, why are we doing burpees? Because we're getting punished because we wasted your time. Absolutely. You waste my time, I'm gonna waste your time with something that I don't believe in. I mean,
Right.
we
Yeah.
don't do them all the time, but every once in a while I'll throw it in there if you wear blue or something like that, because we don't wear blue. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry. I just wanted to
No,
say that,
I
like,
I like that, Scott. I didn't learn the Olympic lifts, weightlifting, until I started working with Travis Mash, and
I love his
I
stuff.
may have been 36 at the time by the time I learned how to do a clean. And I mean, like, I always think to myself, Paul and I are older, and so in these, being exposed to the Olympic lifts, the weightlifting in those early years was like it was a rarity.
Mhm.
Paul, you may have done it. What was the East Coast Gold? Was the weightlifting club
Yep. Uh,
at Fairleigh Dickinson or at the
no,
university?
well, East Coast Gold was Leo Totten, and he
But
was
didn't they
down.
weren't they doing it inside one of the universities in New Jersey?
There was a club in
It was a
well,
club.
Morristown. He had one, and then
Yeah,
also at Fairleigh Dickinson. Yeah.
that's where it was. And so, you know, you just didn't get exposed to it. I'll share the story another time, but when I was 13, I could have learned weightlifting, but I cried and the guy like kicked me out of the gym. So that's a whole nother story. You know, maybe we edit that out. I don't want to
No,
let
no,
people
no. You
know.
don't edit
That's
that.
it.
See,
That's it.
Just
that's
That's
kidding.
it.
people tuning in.
I've
Now
shared
I'm gonna
that.
listen to all of them. I'm like, when's he telling that
Yeah.
story?
I've shared that story before, but it was a guy that was a national weightlifter from Romania, and he was in Israel, and he saw me like lifting wrong, and he screamed at me, and I like left, and my grandfather told me I was an embarrassment for trying to think I knew what I was doing. He's like, you don't know jack. And so I was like, man, if I would have learned weightlifting at age 13, it would have changed the trajectory of, I believe, my confidence, not just my sport performance. And so I have middle school kids at my private gym, and I teach them how to do a hang clean with an empty bar. And I watch them do it. And I'm like, man, it looks so good. And I'm like, what was I doing at 13 besides struggling to do 2 push-ups? Learning, I feel like learning the Olympic lifts when you're don't have the muscle mass and you're kind of like lankier, it's easier because you're not like, I'm so tight, this is uncomfortable. Their their body is so plastic. It's such a great time to teach.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Zach,
agree with you.
at 13, we were climbing trees on the monkey bars, we were cleaning our body weight. That's what we were doing. I
Scott
mean,
doesn't want to hear this.
I,
Walking to school uphill in the snow barefoot stuff.
Listen, when Scott said 84 was his year he was born,
Yeah.
I was a junior in high school at that time. So
That's right.
yeah,
You were
no.
doing burnouts in your Camaro.
Trans Am, baby.
T-tops? No way. You had T-tops on it?
It
Oh,
did.
man.
No, that's my buddies. We were just talking about that. Judas Priest on the radio, T-tops off. I'm dating myself now.
Right,
Man.
listen, cassette tapes, AC, Metallica was 1984. I mean, come on, dude. 1984. Beast times. So
Oh, yeah.
we did not ask Scott. Well, let's ask Scott his favorite movie.
Yep.
And first of all, Scott, I mean, have you watched The Equalizer? I mean, if you've been really listening,
I've been listening, but I mean, I haven't watched it.
Get
we
on
ain't
it.
got time for excuses, man. You better
Can
fix
I watch
that.
it with a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old?
Probably not. I would say
Wow.
no.
No.
Definitely not. This might be good if you're on your prep and you're like, man, I need some
prep.
energy. Yeah, Scott is like
Hey.
the master of no free time.
No.
He's a
2 hours.
workhorse. You're gonna say to your wife, honey, I had a rough day this week and I'm just gonna go downstairs and get some me time. And when you walk down the stairs, you kind of laugh to yourself a little bit. Then you turn it on, baby.
Okay.
Turn that on. I
Scott,
mean,
if we want to do the Griffin and we want to raise money, do we send it to you? How do we go about? Do you have your own scholarship or is it through the NHSSCA?
No. The scholarship is through the NHSSCA. Yeah, no, we don't. I have no part of any money thing on it. Never want to make money on his name whatsoever. I just want him to make an impact in this world. I mean, no. If that's something that you want to reach out about, I think that's something we would contact the NHSSCA about, and how they want to do it. But no, I have, just like when Kendall first started the workout, not about money to me. I don't care about that. I care about him. I care about his legacy and what he's going to do and what impact he's going to make and what impact the NHSSCA makes, not only on us coaches, but if you think about it, I mean, we make all this impact on all these students and all these kids. And because we're bettering ourselves, we better ourselves through our connections and through these programs and through a challenge and through this podcast. Like I talk with Matt Cates, who's our state director. I'm the assistant state director. And I was like, I'm stealing this idea. I want to have an Indiana podcast. Like, I just want us to be able to help each other out because it helps the kids out. And we just need to be strong together because we're strength coaches, right? We want everyone to be strong. And I always tell my kids there's so many different forms of strength and we just want to be strong in all forms of it, mental, emotional, physical, everything.
Where can coaches post the time? So if we say, okay, the 25th, we're doing this, I'm going to challenge, and Zach will as well. We're going to challenge all our New Jersey coaches to see if we can do this in their weight room, post the best boys time, girls time, or even top 5.
Yeah.
And where can we post
for the girls, Scott? How many girls could do pull-ups? How does that work?
So I've got some girls that can throw a chain on and do some pull-ups. We got some tough ladies. So
I gotta step it up. I better step it up out here.
We got a girl. I think it was out there on our. You should watch. She's sitting there squatting 2 plates and like 6 chains and squats 330 like it ain't nothing. So we got some strong ladies, but for the individual that you need to make some modifications to, you make those modifications. So we do band assisted pull-ups in our weight room. A coach from I think it was in California sent me a message the other day. He sent me the video of them doing the workout, and I DM'd him back and thanked him. And they were doing like ring pull-ups.
Yeah, recline row. Oh, yes.
Yeah, so they were doing it like that. Yeah, so any modification you need to make, like I have a kid that just had hip surgery and he did it today, and he couldn't do the V-ups because he couldn't, do that. He could kind of do the air squat, and then he couldn't jump. He's not allowed to jump yet. So I had him do calf raises instead, and then he just did crunches. And his time just wouldn't. Basically, it's a non-modified. Is how I view it. The non-modified best time, and then you want everyone to be able to compete and do it. So if you got to modify it, but I'm not counting that towards my top times. And I'm just keeping all mine this year in a Google sheet. And then I'm going to take a picture of it and post it. And then on my Eastside Strong is our class Instagram page at Eastside Strong. So my story has been like nonstop, me taking pictures and videos for the past 2 days of the best time for each mod. So that's something I do with my AMRAPs with like whenever we do our lift, like our squat, clean, bench, deadlift. When we AMRAP, I always celebrate whoever has the top. They're used to doing it. So we just boom, pose for it, boom, take a picture real quick. And I've been posting it on my story. And then I'm keeping it in my photos for whoever's the top. And then I'm going to post that. And I'm going to try and get a couple videos. And then when we do the Griffin workout, I think one of the seniors is going to video parts of it because I'm going to have a spot where you can do the challenge during the workout.
Amazing, amazing stuff, my man. You're crushing it. You're doing a lot. Mike Schrock gave us a piece of advice last year about, as he's, older than us, but he said, don't be afraid to take time away. Like the weight room won't explode without, if you're not there, and make sure you get that time with family and kids. And you're working a lot. And I think as strength coaches, we pride ourselves on that work ethic. I think it's also healthy and okay to not be always first guy in, last guy out, or first girl in, last girl out. And so, make sure you're getting some of that downtime. I think that's important.
Mhm.
He's like, I don't
agree
rest.
100%.
I don't do that. I don't sleep. 3 jobs, #3 jobs. So love what you're doing, man. Sounds, making a lot of change with the kids. Sounds like you get a lot of input from the kids, and just, tough thing would be, I was just thinking to myself while you were talking, it's like, man, I'm so tough on the kids. I feel like I always tell them, I go, I'm tough on you because I love you, otherwise I'm not going to be tough on you. So I said, that's why my job is to protect you, because there's kids in other schools that we're playing against that are training to come at you. And if I don't get you bigger, stronger, faster, tougher, then I'm not protecting you. And so I am going to push you. And sometimes that's going to, get you feeling uncomfortable. So you ever kind of like feel like you push the kids too much, Scott?
I mean, I don't. I mean, yes, I push them. They know that I push them, but they also know that I love them. I tell them I love them.
Yeah.
If they haven't heard that from me, that'd be kind of weird because I've even stopped my classes before and told them I love them. I tell them when I mess up. I tell them when I did something wrong, when I don't think I liked what I did. I tell them. I'm honest with them. I do the Instagram polls lately now. Instagram has been pretty cool for our class because it does give them input. We did a really cool thing for like
Oh,
Christmas this
in,
year.
in
Brought
the
in lights and
story,
stuff.
in the story, you could do a poll, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
heard
yeah,
that.
yeah. So we'll do
That's smart.
like in the poll for the story. I would bring up like, what time do you want to do Christmas Eve lift, and bring in Christmas lights. And I hung up Christmas lights in our entire weight room. It took me 2 days,
I
and I had
remember
a
that.
buddy helping me. Yeah, and it was really really cool. Yeah, I think I posted a video of my daughters coming in and looking at
Yep.
it. I didn't post any of the kids working out. I had to run 2 different sections on it, and I don't know why. I was just in the moment with them, and
That's great.
yeah, it's those like non-class times when the kids come in that you can kind of talk with them. I mean, I'm always talking with them. They always have choice during their workouts.
Right.
Like, I don't know, I'll tell them core choice or back choice, shoulder choice, and I want them to be educated. I tell them if they leave here and can't, I don't want you to ever have to pay for a personal trainer. I mean, I am one, nothing wrong with it, but you shouldn't have to feel like I don't know how to work out. You should know how to program. Next week, I'm actually going to give them a blank tier system, and they're going to fill it out, and they're going to do their workout on their own. Like,
Dude, they love
make
that.
one.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
love when we do it on Wacky Wednesday.
Mhm.
Tomorrow we're going to play full court basketball as a warm up, and then we like let them create that, and they put together some tough training.
Oh yeah,
You're
they're gonna
right.
get stuff around themselves.
That's right. They know, like learning how to, I always tell them, like, man, if something happens to me, like I need you to know how to do stuff and not be stuck at some gym curling and checking your phone every other set, And so I like it, man. I like that you're vulnerable with the kids. Um, that's good for them too,
Yep.
to have that. That's really good for them. What kind of things, you mentioned I mess up and I tell them, What's something you feel you messed up on recently?
I do remember like there was one time last year, the class before just, they got me a little bit. So when the other
Full
class
moon.
was warming up, yeah, I took it out on them a little bit. And they could tell. They were like, Coach is on one today. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And we just kept going. And then the next day, because this was before we were blocked, I was like, hey guys, yeah, I'm sorry. That was, and then they all, I knew you were like, and they just kept, they laughed about it. And we probably had our best training session, but they know. And then it just, I don't know, just, it is what it is, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, you're
most of
hey,
them have, most of them have seen me cry. I've seen some of them cry. I, I don't know. I
dude,
mean, it's just being human.
that's right. It's called
right.
being dude. The girls almost made me cry.
Mhm.
The girls almost made me cry in the beginning of the year. The beginning of the year, I was struggling to like train the girls. They were talking so much, and I was trying to like, are you listening? And they could talk and listen at the same time. It's a skill I do not have.
No,
And and they laugh, they have a good time, and like I saw girls like on their phone. One girl, like, her knees were bothering her. I'm like, man, she's like on her phone. And one of the girls was like, yeah, she's looking up an ab workout. She's doing her core work. And I was like, man, thank God she told me that, because here I am about to say, what are you doing on your phone? And she was finding another way to train without asking me, what do I do for my abs? And they found another way. And so like I was gonna tell them, I was like, you guys made me a better coach. And I'm like right about to cry. And then I'm
Oh, yeah.
like, let's just bring it in. I was like, let's just bring it in. And in my mind, I'm like, before I have a little breakdown here, let's just bring it, because they would have laughed at me.
Yeah, you
The
get you get
girls are
those proud
funny.
moments. You get those proud moments when you see them doing
Yes.
something that you've coached them up to do, or
Yeah.
they just take initiative, or they just work their butts off. I mean, coming in the morning, and sometimes you do. You're like, they don't have to come in at 7. I guarantee you, tomorrow, Wednesday, it is a virtual day. It's a virtual day. They don't have to get up. They don't have to come to school. I guarantee you, I got a bunch of kids in there at 7 a.m. And I
Nice.
just look at them, and I'm proud, and I'm happy. And I don't know, sometimes it just depends on the emotion, I guess. Sometimes
Yes.
it'll get you.
Scott, how do you schedule? Use Team Builder? There's a scheduler app in there?
No, so we do team builder for our workouts. So like,
Mhm.
and I'll make individual, like I make workouts depending on what group you're in. If you're a 5-dayer, if you're coming in football, volleyball,
Yeah.
just the class, body weight stuff, whatever. But no, we have a Google sheet, and it's been really easy. So I just open up the Google sheet. I have it for the whole week, and then they type in their own name, and they know that if they come in, they've reserved that rack. That's their rack, and they can come
Nice.
work with up to 3 or 4 people in a rack. And then so like their friends will sign up or sign up with them, and we show up, put a hammer in the door, and they come in. We have a little temperature gauge in our weight room that we got. That's my version of tech in there that we got this summer, and they come in, they do that, and they go.
Nice. Very cool.
Good.
Paul, we didn't get your favorite movie, my man.
Oh man.
Could be a kids
I-
movie too.
yeah,
Whatever
the
you want.
movie that plays the most in this house, without a doubt, is Frozen 2. And Frozen,
Oh,
can't sleep on Frozen 2 is
Yeah.
a good movie. Frozen 2 is solid. The music is solid in Frozen 2. Me, if any Rocky movie's on, I'm watching Rocky. I still regret I didn't say that during my Play Academy thing. I said Billy Madison instead, and I don't know why. I didn't want people to judge me for Rocky. And then Varsity Blues was probably that was my when I was
Charlie
I was in
Clear.
high school. I watched it every Thursday night before playing Fridays, and then when I was first started coaching, I would watch it every Thursday night. Just wore that disc out. I would watch that every Thursday night
Well,
before
what
games were on.
Rocky is your favorite? Rocky one? Which one? 3?
No, probably 4, honestly.
Yeah, it's a
I like
tough
the
call, man.
montages. It's basically a movie of montages. It's like half montage, half actual movie. It's pretty
I
solid.
I can't. That movie was out in '85, I think, and it's like, dude, here we are, 2021, and it's still like the music is
Yep.
amazing. But
Mhm.
Rocky 3 just gets me, man. When he's got to take him back, old school. Nikki tells him the worst thing that could happen to a fighter is you get civilized. Apollo is getting him, into the mindset, but he can't do it until his wife, like, he goes through a breakdown to have a breakthrough, and he's like, like if you don't believe in yourself, no, it doesn't matter how hard you train.
Yeah.
And that is the
Wow.
truth. The best training can be canceled out until a kid believes in himself. And that's the toughest thing is we can't give them the belief, but you got to guide them through all these, journeys and different roads and hope that they do believe in themselves because, as we know, sometimes athletes that don't work as hard, they simply believe in themselves. They have that gift.
Yep.
Sometimes you don't believe in yourself till you're past, you don't compete in college and then you get this confidence. So that stuff's I always felt like Rocky it's a movie, but there's so many true, legitimate life lessons. So, man, Scott, this has been great. So you're part of you're Columbus, Indiana.
Correct.
Okay. And what was your Instagram handle again for coaches to follow you?
So my school one that I use that for all the kids is at East Side Strong.
Okay.
And my personal is at Scotty doesn't know. SKOTTIE doesn't know.
Man,
From Euro Trip. It's most people probably won't even recognize that reference, but I've had that handle for a long time.
nice. Excellent. So everybody listening, this is the New Jersey High School Strength Coaches Podcast. We've got some New Jersey coaches coming up next. We're going to be interviewing one by one our advisory board members. Okay. They're all hashtag family. They're all part of the mob. They're part of the mob. And we're excited. Scott, this was great. Scott, of course, is a member and on the advisory board for Indiana National High School Strength Coaches Association. So if you're in New Jersey or anywhere in the country, go to nhssca.us. You can become a member. And Paul, you said March Madness is 25% off.
Yep.
It very likely could be some sort of a budget for a strength coach, or if you're in the phys ed department or athletics, where they can sign you up because it would be continuing education. It's extremely powerful. So when you go inside the Facebook, introduce yourself inside the Facebook group. And Scott, if you could remember a widescreen, maybe a couple minute tour of your weight room and show us just kind of, what it looks like. I think that'll be great. And email it to Paul, myself, and Toby. Toby does the, adding the content. I think he adds like one piece of content a week. Michelle sent us one last week. It's really cool.
Not a problem.
We would really appreciate that. So you guys hang on. I'm going to shut it down right now. Again, everybody, thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon. Please share this with friends. Share it with a administrator if you don't have a full-time position. Let your administrator start seeing some of these. We did a podcast with my athletic director, Rich Carroll. So you could find that video. We're also on Apple and Spotify, anywhere you could listen. Get the support and inside the professional development, which is the articles and resources. There are articles and videos on how coaches started volunteering, then it became part-time, then it became full-time. So there are resources for you to help make this happen. So that's it for today. This was a great episode with our friend Scott and my boy, Paul Collodi. We'll be back next week. I'm going to shut it down. You guys just hang tight, please.